Oi! Thoughty2 here. Everyday coffee beans are made up of 3% rum and 10% THC, the active ingredient in marijuana. However, none of that is true. Welcome to Simu. Jesus Christ, when he was a teenager, sold his own brand of cigarettes to make extra money on the side. He called them Holy Smokes. Captain Kangaroo was actually the captain of the kangaroos. Those two things, also not true. Made it up. Mailboxes. Ever wonder where they come from? Or how they get to the end of your driveways? Well, you might find the answer quite interesting. Most of us would assume that they're manufactured in factories and then sold to different outlets across the world. Wrong. The truth is that they're actually grown from seedling to full-fledged mailbox, usually on a large plantation in Hawaii. Due to the extreme heat, careful precision that goes into growing and harvesting a mailbox. 90% of the Earth's mailboxes are grown on plantations in Hawaii. And if you're asking yourself why you haven't heard of any of these plantations, well, the answer is actually quite simple. It's because I made it all up, mate. Did you know that there is a law in the US Constitution that strictly forbids fist bumping? Apparently John Hancock himself found the fad to be offensive to the already established handshake and had it outlawed. And it still, to this day, has not been taken off the books and has been enforced only once by Buford Pusser, Sheriff Walking Tall Joe Don Baker. That can't be true, I hear you say? Well, you're right. I made that shit up too. You bloody Darby. The American Civil War between the states never actually happened. That's right, mate. Contrary to popular belief, the American Civil War never actually happened. It was actually a story written in local newspapers that eventually led to the abolishment of slavery. And Abraham Lincoln? He was still shot by John Wilkes Booth, but he didn't actually die. The two men had actually been homosexual lovers for many years. And when John Wilkes Booth found out that Abraham Lincoln would not be leaving his wife Mary Todd for him, he shot him in a rage of passion. And even with all of that, the two still remained friends for many years, all the way up until their deaths. This secret was discovered only 10 years after their deaths, where they had both made full confessions in their personal journals. Journals that wouldn't go public for another 100 years. Hard to believe, isn't it? Well, it should be, because absolutely none of it is true, mate. Mr. Wizard, on the popular 1980s and 90s children's educational television series, was actually a real wizard. Graduating at the top of his class at Merlin's Wizard Academy, somewhere in England, he was trained by Professor Phineas Savage, a descendant of the real Merlin the Magician. And yes, he does own a wizard's cap and magic wand. You receive it upon your graduation. Actually, you don't, because that too was all completely made up. The films Harry and the Hendersons and RoboCop are based entirely on true stories. Once again, a bunch of made up crap, mate. Finally, cats don't really exist. They're simply a figment of our imaginations that we use to cope with life. That's all for now. Thanks for the view. Subscribe for more. Thoughty2. Mate, you bloody Darby. Subscribe for more, you bloody Darby. Hey, Eddie Spaghetti here. That's my real self now. That was my take / spoof on the YouTuber who calls himself Thoughty2. Yeah, the YouTube channel Thoughty2. It's personally I love this guy's channel. Highly recommend him. He's very informative and has plenty of real, random, interesting facts, let me tell you. And very fun to watch. I could sit through all of his videos. I almost have. I'm getting there. He's a lot. Unlike all the stuff I just did, that was just me making shit up. And one more thing before I go. Be sure to pick up a copy of my new book, Take a Bite Out of Crime. The true story of McGruff the Crime Dog, who was actually a real dog who mastered human speech, went to the police academy, graduated at the top of his class, became a police officer, overcame obstacles, and eventually became a detective that we all know from the popular commercials where he was out fighting crime and drugs and all sorts of things. Feel free to pick up a copy of this book and my other book, Stick a Knob in It. You can get a copy of these two books by visiting the friggin' bookstore at thisisnotarealbook.com. I figured I owed you all some real facts, but I don't have any as interesting ones on the top of my head. The entire plot to John Carpenter's Assault on Precinct 13 is about the aftermath of the little girl from Escape to Witch Mountain getting shot dead by a gang member while buying an ice cream cone less than 5 minutes into the film. Jeff Goldblum's first film role was in the early 1970s, where he played one of the rapists responsible for turning Charles Bronson's Paul Kersey into the madman vigilante we all know from the movie Death Wish. He was credited as freak number 2, or 3, or 1. Anyway, he was credited as a freak. In Superman 3, this scene actually happened. This is what sex symbol Marilyn Monroe looks like today. You can see Robin Williams' dick in the movie The Fisher King, and if you really try to look hard enough, The Survivors. Actor Dwyer Brown is primarily known for playing Kevin Costner's father in Field of Dreams, even though they're pretty much the same age. Lorenzo Music, the guy who did the voice of Garfield, would later do the voice of Peter Venkman in the real Ghostbusters. Peter Venkman was based on Bill Murray's character in the actual Ghostbusters movie. Years later, Bill Murray would go on to do the voice, that's right, of Garfield in the Garfield movies. Because these two actors, voice actors, and actors sound very similar. Some people don't understand the fascination with Boba Fett. 98% of them are women. Some people don't understand the fascination with the film The Notebook. 98% of those people are men. Quentin Tarantino played an Elvis Presley impersonator on an episode of The Golden Girls. Actor Harrison Ford was in 2 episodes of Gunsmoke. And finally, when you're doing a video like this, you are not required to wear pants. And I never do. That's all for now. Thanks for the view. Subscribe for more. It is spaghetti. And if you're not the reading type, feel free to buy a copy of my book on audio cassette, where you can listen to it at your own leisure.
If you know we usually even part of the time, tell them to quit, take a bite out and cry. Users are losers, and losers are users. I don't use us, I don't use us. Nice going. Now teach it to your mom and dad and brothers and sisters and friends to help take a bite out of crime.